something, Yuri. After today, I want everyone to... Wait. Aren't we supposed to ask Sayori if she's okay with the idea? Right, my mistake. Sayori!
Monica calls out to Sayori, who is idly dragging an eraser up and down her desk. She's so preoccupied that she doesn't react to Monica at all. There's definitely something still bothering her.
Is everything alright, Sayori?
Oh, words. No, I don't think... Dang it, I missed the history twice.
Yeah, fine. Are you sure? It looks like something's really bothering you. No, really, I'm fine. I was just thinking about something, that's all.
She once again shows us a big smile on her face, bigger than the one she showed me earlier. Yet I still can't shake off the feeling that it's a fabrication to make us less worried. So what is on your mind then, Sayori?
I just didn't do so well in my math class, that's all.
Uh-huh. Are you sure there were more words? It's not because...
You shouldn't worry about that too much, Sayori. I find math to be a difficult subject as well. But if you need, I wouldn't mind helping you study for your next test. Oh, okay. Thanks, Monica. You don't need to thank me, Sayori. I'm always here to help when you need.
Another smile appears over Sayori's face, this time a little more genuine than the last. However, I can't help but believe this all was really about something else. Oh, also, Sayori.
Yes, Allie?
We were discussing some other activities we could do as a club earlier, and we wanted to know if you'd be okay with writing a narrative poem for our next club meeting.
A narrative poem? Like a poem, but with a story?
Essentially, yeah.
Sure, that sounds interesting. I guess that settles that. Okay, everyone.
Monica calls out to Natsuki and Yuri, who seems to be in a small conversation amongst themselves. She takes a moment to clear her throat before speaking up.
Tomorrow, I want us all to write narrative poems for our next club meeting. For now, I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long.
Sure.
Sounds good.
The girls all head off to take out their respective poems, and I follow suit. On the way to my backpack, I quickly scarf down what's left of my cupcake before tossing the wrapper into a nearby bin. Now, who to share with first?
Several minutes later.
After rereading Natsuki's poem for a second time, I look up to see her still looking over my poem. I didn't think I wrote that much. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've written way more in just my last 2 poems alone. I allow another minute to pass by before I finally decide to break the silence. So, is it that bad?
Natsuki, it's not bad.
Is that it?
Well, yeah, of course.
Oh, I expected more criticism out of someone like you.
What's that supposed to mean?
I just thought maybe,
Just tell me what you thought of my poem already.
What? Alright. It was pretty good.
You're just saying that.
What? Of course not. This one may be noticeably shorter than the last, but it was still really good. You have a lot more consistency in your writing than I do.
Of course I do. I'm surprised you still haven't learned anything from my writing yet.
Hey, I've learned a lot from your poems.
Yeah, right, there's still a bunch of stuff you still need to learn.
Well, could you at least tell me what...
Fine.
She looks back down at my paper, scanning through the entire thing.
Like here. And, fine, your poem's good, okay?
She shoves the poem into my chest.
It's just not my style.
So it's not cute enough for you?
Do you want to get smacked?
No, sorry. Natsuki lets out a small sigh. Oh yeah, Natsuki, there's something I want to ask you. Have you noticed that there's something up with Sayori?
You mean how she was distancing herself earlier? Of course. You'd need to be a serious dummy to not notice something as obvious as that.
Right. Well, I was thinking it could be because of something that one guy did. You know, the one she was talking to all throughout the festival?
Oh yeah, I think I remember.
After the festival, I noticed Sayori was upset when he left. I didn't think much of it at first, but when I was walking to school with her today, I noticed she was quieter than usual. So when we arrived, I took it upon myself to ask him a couple questions.
You did?
Yeah, well, he's not exactly the easiest person to talk to, but I was able to pull some stuff out of him. Namely, that he likely wasn't joining the club anytime soon.
So you think she's worried because he wouldn't join the club?
I'd assume so.
Or she could be just as worried that no one else from the festival would join the club either.
That's also true, I guess.
Jeez, I know she was talking to him a lot on Friday, but that doesn't mean she's as sad as she was because of it. She only knew him for a few days. Even with her personality, I doubt she'd be upset over him for that long.
I don't know. It is Sayori we're talking about.
I know that, but still. Seems a little quick even for someone like her. Look, I'm not saying it couldn't be part of why she's upset. I'm just saying there's probably more to it than that. It wasn't just Sayori, but Monica too, you know.
Monica?
Yeah? If you weren't so invested in that cupcake you stole, then maybe you would have noticed.
How did you...
You still have some frosting on your cheek, Hallie.
I wipe the side of my cheek, and sure enough, a little bit of frosting comes off my face and onto my finger. Wow, would you look at that? I guess you're right.
Why else do you think she'd see it as so necessary to change up our usual club activities out of nowhere? She's just trying to distract us from the fact that no one's joining.
What do you mean by that? Monica just want is for us to get used to trying new things in the club is all. Besides, I didn't see Monica acting all that strange, so if there's anyone who's really off today, it's easily Sayori.
How did I know you'd be this way? Look, I know you're right on Sayori and all, and so was I. But you've been so fixated on her that it's like you never considered how anyone else in the club feels about all this. I mean, think about it. Monica's the club leader. If anyone's the most upset over the festival, it's her. Even you should know that by now. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I couldn't care less if anyone else joins or not. Same goes for Yuri, too.
Huh? Why's that?
Because we like the club as it is now. It's quiet, cozy, and a great spot to hang out with you guys. Adding more people to the club would just make this place overcrowded. Besides...
Suddenly, the door swings open.
It's not like we need new members anyways.
Huh? Sorry I was a little late. I didn't come at a bad time, did I?
No, not at all.
Hallie!
Sayori runs up to me instinctively, causing me to dodge out of the way. This also causes her to slam right into the metal door frame.
Sayori, are you alright? My head!
The girl, who I believe is Monica, helps get Sayori back up to her feet. Fortunately for her, it doesn't look like she sustained any injuries running face first into the door. Does she always do that?
Not typically.
You alright there?
Yeah.
After a moment of rubbing her hand over her forehead, a smile returns to Sayori's face as she turns towards me.
So you decided to join the club after all?
Not exactly. I came here to ask a few questions. And that's because I ran out of time to ask after the festival.
Oh. Well, regardless of whether you decide to join or not, we're happy that you came to check out our club. It means a lot to us all.
Oh yeah, you're Monica, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to apologize for coming in as late as I did. I had something to finish for another class of mine.
Oh, no worries. Our club runs for another half hour anyways.
Right, thank you.
There's no need to thank us. Even if you weren't able to make it today, the club is open throughout the week, you know.
I see. Even though I'm a mere stranger to her, the smile on Monica's face feels genuine. It's an odd feeling. Sensing a pair of eyes peering at me from across the room, I take notice of a short, pink-haired girl looking directly at me. It's clear by the expression of her face that something's bothering her and likely due to my presence.
Well, what are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it.
Natsuki? Natsuki, huh? Sounds familiar. I believe Sayori mentioned her as the person who made those cupcakes for the festival.
That's our Natsuki, always full of energy. Don't worry, she's not always that moody.
Sayori whispers that into my ear, causing me to turn back towards her. I notice another girl standing beside Sayori, whom I recall as Yuri.
This here's Yuri, the smartest in the club.
Don't say things like that. Yep, just as I thought. It's easy to tell how comparably more timid she is to someone like Sayori. I even noticed it during her performance on Friday. It's nice to meet you, Yuri. She doesn't offer up a response, instead averting her eyes from me entirely. Heh, so it looks like you actually did decide to give it a try. Oh, hey. I'm surprised you...
Oh, this is my best friend Eli. He can be a bit of a meanie sometimes, but I assure you he's very nice. It's gonna be one word.
Wait, is he now?
Of course, he even helps do his busy work without me even asking.
Did I miss some lines there? No, he was still just, wait, yeah, there we go.
Like cooking, cleaning my room.
Hey, knock it off! You don't need to go around advertising myself to someone I already know.
Oh, wait. You two have already met?
Yes, around the time the lunch period began, to be specific.
Oh. Wait, I thought you skipped out on lunch to finish your poem, Eli.
About that. You see, we happened to cross paths during lunch and I helped him finish it. Huh? After that, he talked a little bit about the club and in a way convinced me to come when I did. Isn't that right, Eli? I shoot Eli a stern look, which seems to catch his attention. Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's great. It's good to see you two already getting along.
Eli shoots me back a very curious and questioning look. As to be expected, I guess. It's clear that he came to talk to me on his own volition, and from the sound of it, felt the need to make an excuse to go. As for why that is, I suspect myself not wanting to join the club to be a partial cause for Siri's disappointment, and subsequently why her best friend would suddenly decide to seek me out. With that said, I'd rather not get into what Eli and I discussed during lunch right about now, let alone why. If it concerns him, he can bring it up with Siri at a later time, by himself.
Oh, that's right. Holly, we have some cupcakes and tea if you want some.
Oh, really?
Come on, over here.
Siri leads me over to a set of desks which have been recently arranged together to seat 6 people. When did they do that? Monika's already seated at one of the corner desks, with Natsuki standing just beside her with a container. Siri, Eli, and I take our seats together on the other side. Thinking about it now, I don't actually see Yuri anywhere either. I wonder where she went.
Alright, here they are.
Natsuki lifts the lid off the container to reveal almost a dozen cupcakes decorated similar to how they looked during the festival. Is this like a daily thing or something? I don't see why... new text boxes are a thing. I don't see why they would have some for... Oh, I think I understand.
Oh, they're just as cute as always, Natsuki. You really outdid yourself.
This is nothing, just take one.
Siri immediately reaches in and grabs one of the vanilla cupcakes with blue frosting on it. That's when Monika grabs her own. And there were more words there. Followed by Eli.
Oh, no you don't.
Ow! What was that for?
You know damn well what that was for.
No fair.
Maybe you shouldn't have stolen a cupcake earlier then.
But I watch awkwardly as Natsuki and Eli bicker over him supposedly stealing the cupcake. Looking around, I take notice of Monika giggling a little and see Ori already halfway through her cupcake. I didn't come here to snack. Although I could use something to eat, I suppose. I grab out one of the cupcakes closest to me in the container. A chocolate cupcake with white frosting. I can't help but observe each of the decorations on top for a moment. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. The eyes are a reddish, pinkish color too. Aesthetically pleasing for something you're supposed to just eat and forget about minutes later. The one I grabbed isn't as colorful as the others, oddly suiting my own style. There's no way I just compared my style to a fucking cupcake. The moment I take my first bite, the room falls silent. Well, as silent as it could be with Siri still chowing down on her food, that is. I swallow, noticing Natsuki sneaking glances in my direction the entire time. Eventually, not even the sounds of Siri's eating remain. Now they're all looking at me. Soon enough, the pressure in the room drives me to say something to break the silence. It's good. Thanks, Natsuki.
Why are you thanking me? It's not like I made them for you or anything.
Oh, you wouldn't mind me asking who you made these for, then? Natsuki appears to be taken aback by my response.
They're just... fine, maybe I did. But not for, you dummy.
And here I thought Natsuki was the one taken aback by my response. I understand what she meant, but she worded that in the worst way possible. Monika leans across the table and whispers over to me, hand cupped so no one else picks up on what she's saying.
You can just ignore her. It takes her a little while to get used to the new members, so it's best to just leave her be.
You don't say. Following Monika's advice, I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. My attention is soon drawn behind me, where I see Yuri walking into the room with a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot. Oh, that's right. Seeing it now, I don't believe I've tried their tea yet. It's orange in hue and has a familiar sweet aroma. Oolong tea, huh? I take a sip, only to peer over towards Yuri and find a worried expression on her face.
Is something wrong? You don't have to drink it if you don't like it.
Of course not. I'm not a huge tea drinker, but the blend is fine.
I'm glad.
Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief.
So, Holly, what kinds of things do you like to read?
I suppose anything with a good synopsis I'll give a shot.
Any particular genre?
Not really. I haven't had time or the time to find a specific genre that interests me.
Oh.
Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger.
Well, my favorites are usually novels that look deep in complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive.
Yuri goes on and on, prompting me to tune out half of her speech. She seemed so reserved and timid when I walked in, though it seems her passion for literature goes over that personality trait of hers.
Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. When a story makes me think, or it takes me to another world, I find it really difficult to put it down. I found that surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment.
I see. Well, I've only read a few horror stories before. I don't believe I've ever looked about it the way you do. Thought about it?
You'd be surprised how far deep psychological elements can work into building your emotion.
Horror. I hate horror.
Why is that?
Well, it's just... Never mind.
That's right, you only like to read about cute things, don't you, Natsuki?
What? How dare you call my manga cute?
Manga?
Yeah, what about it?
Nothing. Just don't believe I've ever read one before.
You're missing out, then. It's certainly more interesting than anything Yuri reads, anyway.
Natsuki, just because it's not cute doesn't mean it's not interesting. I personally believe that you could benefit from going outside your comfort zone and reading something more mature for once.
I already told you. Your cupcakes, your poems, your manga. Everything you do is just as cute as you are.
Yuri sneaks behind Natsuki and wraps her arms around her shoulders.
Stop calling me cute!
Natsuki pulls off Yuri's arms and sinks into her chair, her own arms crossed. I take it she doesn't take being called cute all that well. A weird thing to be offended by, that's for sure. The other girls continue to converse and bicker amongst each other, all the while I take the final bites out of my cupcake. Cupcakes, tea. It's nice and all, but not why I'm here. I turn to Monica. So, about the club. What do you girls usually do here, anyway? She takes one last sip of her tea before setting the cup down.
For a while now, we've been working a lot with poems. But recently, Mel decided to shake up the formula for once. So for our next club meeting, each of us is going to write a more narrative-ended poem instead.
Isn't that essentially the same thing?
Well, we plan to start writing short stories in the future. And since we've done poems for so long, we choose to start off with a narrative poem first. It helps ease into things, that way everyone's comfortable with the idea. In this context of what we chose.
I see. I don't believe I've written a narrative poem or a short story before.
It's okay. To be honest, I can count the amount of short stories I've written all in one hand.
Don't capitalize over comma. Like, and also, on one hand. Really?
Of course. You can think of it as a learning experience for all of us.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure why, but I expected a club president of a literature club to do this kind of thing more. Or at the very least, do a little more than write poems. So you girls don't review books or anything like that?
Oh, believe me, we've tried that. But our tastes are so different that it's hard to find a compelling story for us all to enjoy. So we all write the way we feel is most comfortable for us, and then share it amongst each other instead.
I see.
So, what made you consider the literature club?
I'm not sure why, but that question felt like it came out of nowhere. I guess I just didn't expect it to come up so soon. Truth be told, I'm not really sure myself. About why I'm here, of course. It's something I still can't put my finger on quite yet. Maybe like a gut feeling? Or perhaps a combination of many different reasons? There's only one real reason I could think of as to why, really.
Hallie, you okay?
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright. I know checking out a club can be very nerve-wracking, trust me. But when you're with us, we'll make sure you feel right at home, okay?
Right. Thanks, Monica.
There's no need to thank me. As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone.
Look, I don't mean to answer your question with my own question, but what made you decide to start your own club in the first place?
Well, you know, I wanted to take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling the dream.
I see. Well, sorry to disappoint, but I don't think I have an answer that compares to yours. I just happened to give it a try, I guess. Monica lets out a light chuckle.
That's more of an answer than you think it is, Hallie.
Is it now?
Of course. You don't always need a complex reason behind everything, and that's okay. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new. So, as long as you're willing to go out of your way to try, that's more than enough.
Uh-huh.